Alright, good morning guys. Today I want to share with you my favorite new perfume discovery and what I think is going to become one of my favorite perfumes. The perfume I have really slowed down on. I still only have about 10 perfumes. Throughout the last 6 months to a year, a couple perfumes have come, a couple perfumes have gone, but I have pretty much kept it to about 10 perfumes. The way that I found this one was honestly, I just happened to pick it up on a whim. It's actually one that I have owned before. I used to have this perfume about 5 years ago. Yeah, I think it was about 5 years ago. And at the time I really liked it, but I was so new to the world of perfume. I was discovering so many other perfumes that at the time this one was not a favorite. Revisiting it this time around, I have a new appreciation for it, and I will get into that in a moment. From Christian Dior, this is Miss Dior Rose and Roses. Now, I am a little nervous that they're going to discontinue this fragrance for a couple of reasons. Number one, they discontinued my previous all-time favorite signature scent perfume, which was the original, well, not the original, but the Miss Dior 2017 formulation. It was the most beautiful, sophisticated perfume. Now I'm looking back and wishing I would have kept some of my backups. I did actually at one point have like 5 backups of that perfume, which is crazy. And I ended up getting rid of all of it. I got rid of all my backups because my mentality was if it's discontinued, I don't want to hold on to something that I will eventually not be able to repurchase again. The other thing is, it was also becoming a little too strong for me. It was starting to be a little too heady, a little too strong, give me a bit of a head. However, I'm still sad about it because I wish that they wouldn't discontinue these like iconic fragrances. So looking at this bottle here, this Rose and Roses, I will get into what it smells like in a moment, but it is a beautiful pink bottle with the iconic metal bow on it. And it has like the sort of embossed side on it, and then the really pretty cap with the CD engraved into the top, and then it has the little plaque on the front that says Miss Dior Rose and Roses. Just a classic, beautiful, exemplary perfume from Dior. And I think that you can tell just by looking at this why I might be nervous that they might discontinue this perfume. Number one, it still has the old design, the old bottle design. It's got the old metallic bow. For some reason, Dior has decided that they're discontinuing so many of these great fragrances like Absolutely Blooming, the Miss Dior 2017. I shouldn't say they discontinued, they reformulated the 2017 Miss Dior and made it into something completely different, like such a far departure from the 2017 Miss Dior that I just don't even, it's a nice fragrance, but it's so different. They should have just come out with a completely new fragrance instead of reformulating it, because I know I'm not the only person who's disappointed. The other reason that I'm worried that they might discontinue, there's 2 other reasons. One other reason is that this one isn't super popular. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this one. It isn't one of their best sellers. So I feel like if they're going to cut anything from their line, I feel like this might be one that they would cut from their line or completely reformulate and make into something different. The other reason that I'm worried that they might discontinue it is because it is one of the last remaining true, iconic, vintage, sophisticated, old school smelling fragrances from Dior. And by that I mean all of the new fragrances are becoming a little bit more modern, a little bit more mass-pleasing. This one still has that sort of iconic, like trademark, clean, classy, elegant, old school beauty to it. The scent and the bottle. That is what makes me nervous for the lifeline of this fragrance. How long will it be around? Are they planning on discontinuing it at some point or completely reformulating it? It still has all of these vintage feels, these little aspects of this perfume that make you think, okay, this could have been around in the 50s or the 60s. And it feels like they are just getting rid of everything and reformulating everything and making everything into something a little bit more youthful, modern, mass-pleasing, but to their detriment, because when you do that, you lose a little bit of the specialty. It would be like if Chanel took Chanel No. 5 and updated it and made it a completely different scent and got rid of those like sharp, clean, soapy, powdery, aldehydic components and made it into like a clean girl everyday fragrance. It just would not be fitting. It wouldn't be suiting. It would be very disappointing. I think most people can agree. If something is iconic and something is great, even if it is a little dated, even if it makes you think of the 50s or you feel a little like Marilyn Monroe when you put it on, leave it as it is. Don't touch it. Don't reformulate it. Don't get rid of it. Don't make it into something completely different, because guess what? If people just don't appreciate it, that is their problem. That sounds like a them problem. They should, not touch these gorgeous fragrances. Long story short, I am nervous that they might do something with this one, but this one I literally just picked up on a whim. I was looking at the Dior fragrances. I used to love Dior, and I currently I don't think I have any other Dior fragrances. Oh, I do have J'adore, which is another iconic, timeless fragrance. And I saw this one here sitting on the shelf with the pretty little metallic bow that has been so far untouched, and they haven't meddled with it. And I thought, you know what, let me pick this up and smell it. And when I smelled it and when I sprayed it, I thought that truly still has the timeless, elegant, sophisticated, regal touch that the Dior fragrances all used to have. And I was like, I need this perfume in my life. And it smelled better to me and different to me now than when I used to have this fragrance 5 or 6 years ago. I think just because now I've come kind of, like I say, full circle. I have smelled so many perfumes. I have owned so many fragrances. I've had probably 500 perfumes come through my doors. I've been sent $500-$600 bottles of perfume from numerous companies. I've purchased niche perfumes. I've owned every Parfum de Marly. I've owned like 20 Tiziana Terenzis. I've owned Clive Christian. I've owned pretty much every designer perfume you can think. I've had cheapies and I've had expensive, and I've kind of come full circle, and I just have like a more refined, personalized palette now in terms of like, I know what I like, I know what suits me. And this one just really stood out, and it stood out compared to all of the other fragrances that are currently available. I think that's why I only have about 10 perfumes. There's very few perfumes that for me I love them enough to have them. But yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about the notes of this perfume. I'm going to spray it and smell it with you guys, and then I'm going to share with you a great layering combination for if you want to smell a little bit like a princess. Okay guys, so I actually just looked on Fragrantica and I saw that this perfume was released in 2020, so that's pretty interesting. That means I must have purchased it shortly after it was released. I have tried every single perfume from the women's Dior range, and some of them were kind of like not so standout. This was one of the better, newer releases, and I wouldn't mind revisiting the Miss Dior Joy fragrances, because I think they are those quintessential feminine, fruity, floral, musky fragrances that I feel like you just cannot go wrong with, especially now being in my late 30s. This type of perfume just speaks to me. It just embodies everything I want to smell like as a woman. So this perfume, like I said, came out in 2020, and it is classified as a rose, musky, fresh, spicy, citrus, aromatic, powdery, floral scent. And the nose behind this is Francois Demaki, I'm not sure if I'm saying it properly. And this is described as a clean, feminine, soft rose scent, fresh and lightly musky blend. The notes that you have in the top are geranium, bergamot, and Italian mandarin. In the middle, you have 2 different types of rose, and then in the base, you have a white musk. So I'm going to go ahead and smell this and spray this and tell you what I pick up from it, because I get something more interesting and more complex and more beautiful than what is portrayed in those notes. Now, I don't have any perfume spray papers, but I do have the box, which I find works very well, and I just wanted to show you this beautiful box. This is what it came in. The box has a very subtle iridescence to it, and then it has the iconic pink Miss Dior emblem on the front with the cursive letters, iconic Dior writing on the bottom, and it's just very beautiful. The side of the box also has sort of this embossed gingham style print, and everything about it screams elegance. It is an elegant fragrance. It's an elegant house. It's an elegant fragrance. Did I say fragrance? It's an elegant fragrance. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this. I'm going to spray it in here for you guys. That's why I like to keep boxes, so I can spray them here. But let me just take the cap off here and tell you what I get from the atomizer. Okay, so it's such a beautiful fragrance. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just spray it. So let's go ahead and just spray the box. This is such a timeless, elegant, beautiful fragrance. Oh, so gorgeous. So gorgeous. It's a masterpiece, honestly. I Don't know why I didn't appreciate this as much when I first smelled it as I do now. So right off the hop, I definitely actually pick up on the geranium now, which I didn't even really notice was in there before. But when you first spray it, it's almost like a very fresh, sort of a green smelling rose. Nothing too much sticks out over the rest, except of course for the rose. It's a very rose dominant scent. Very fresh, very clean, very feminine, very sophisticated. Something I would say you could almost picture the girls from Bridgerton, and I'm not like a diehard Bridgerton fan. I watched the first season and then I kind of lost interest. If I had to guess what type of fragrance, and obviously it would not be historically accurate, but I could see this type of perfume being worn by, you know, those type of women with the really beautiful, like old Victorian looking dresses and gowns with the flowers, and it just has this very regal, timeless, elegant, quintessentially female, sophisticated feel to it. I almost pick up a little bit something like sweeter in the bottom. I know that there is mandarin in here, and there's nothing else in the notes that would make it smell sweet, but there's something about it I do pick up on a sweetness. To me, this is almost like a jammy rose, but not too jammy. I'm not a fan of jammy roses, but there is something in here that gives it a little bit of a sweetness. It's mostly fresh, it's clean, it's musky. If you told me that there was like just a touch of vanilla or maybe a tiny touch of caramel or something in the base, I would have believed you. There is something about this perfume that has just this like youthfulness to it. This is your classy, well-rounded, sophisticated girl who isn't trying too hard. She's not trying to do too much. It's very effortless. You don't have to think too hard about putting on this perfume. The performance, it doesn't have the craziest longevity. It doesn't have the craziest sillage. It's not a big, loud fragrance. So yeah, it smells like, to me, it has a good performance for an eau de toilette, and it's very effortless. It's kind of in the same class as something like Chanel Chance Eau Tendre. If you want to compare the vibe, it doesn't smell like Chance Eau Tendre, but if you want to compare the vibe, they're both light, pretty, feminine, timeless, elegant, classic rose fragrances that you just cannot go wrong with. A little bit shampoo-y, a little bit fresh out of the shower. This one, however, I have to say, like, between this one and the Chanel Chance Eau Tendre is more youthful, shampoo-y, light. This one has more of a regal quality to it. Chanel is just timelessly elegant and timelessly beautiful. Like, you can never go wrong with Chanel. It doesn't matter what Chanel you pick up. I have owned, I don't know, probably 10 Chanel perfumes at this point, and I'm not done discovering Chanel. I've owned all of the Chance perfumes. I've owned Coco Noir. I've owned Coco Mademoiselle. I've owned Chanel No. 5 Eau Premiere. What is it? The Chanel No. 5 Low? Yeah, which is the like soapy version. I've had 19 Poudre. I've had Allure Sensuelle. Anyways, I've owned a whole schwack of Chanel, and you just can't go wrong. All the Chanel perfumes, I think people will agree, have this timeless Chanel-esque quality that you just know. When you smell a Chanel perfume, you know that is Chanel. Makes you smell like rich aunt vibes. It makes you smell like the most rich, sophisticated woman that you can remember from your family lineage. Like, she would have wore that perfume. And that's Chanel. Something about the Dior's goes a little bit more sort of in this princessy, and I don't know if I'm biased because of the bow on the bottle. It just has a little bit more of this girly, princessy, but still very classy, regal sophistication about it. If Chanel is the Queen of England, for example, this would be more like your Princess Di or even your Kate Middleton. Like, it's just a little bit more modern, youthful, not quite as stuffy, if that makes sense. Not that I feel like Chanel is stuffy, but I think you guys know what I'm trying to say. It's just a little bit more like girly. And yeah, this is just a stunning, stunning fragrance. It makes me feel classy. It makes me feel elegant. It makes me feel put together, clean, fresh, effortless. A perfect everyday go-to fragrance that you just cannot go wrong with. Is it going to last as long as some of your other fragrances that are eau de parfum or that are a little bit more heavy? Of course not, but it's not meant to. It's meant to have this light, airy, clean feel about it. And I just love it. And I also love that it is rose heavy and rose dominant. And I'm not usually a person who wants like a rose dominant, rose heavy fragrance. I do like rose, but it's not, you know, my most gravitated toward floral family. I would say I usually go more toward a little bit the white florals. This is definitely rose dominant, but in the best way ever. It just makes me feel like a clean, beautiful woman. So now I want to share with you guys, if you are looking for something to make you smell a little bit like a princess, I want to draw your attention to a fragrance I actually also used to own from House of Sillage called Tiara, I believe it's House of Sillage Tiara. And House of Sillage Tiara is a fragrance I almost wish I would have kept. But again, you guys, I mean, I've had hundreds of perfumes. I could find a reason, if you back me into a corner, I could find a reason why I wish I would have kept every single perfume I've ever had. And it just wasn't something I was interested in doing. But that was, and still is, a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. If you haven't smelled, if you want a recommendation from me for House of Sillage, and you're looking for something feminine and beautiful that will make you smell like a pretty, sophisticated princess, it is Tiara. And that fragrance was a pink floral. I believe there was peony in there, which peony is another one of my favorite notes. But I think it also had either sugar or caramel or both. And it also had a little bit of an orange quality to it as well, similar to this one. So it smelled similar to this. This smells a little bit like House of Sillage Tiara, but this one isn't as sweet as Tiara. Tiara also brought this like caramel, sugary component that just truly made it a standout. And it smelled like half chic, sophisticated floral beauty and half sweet, sexy, interesting, not deep, not dark, but just sweet and girly and good enough to eat at the same time. And it combined the two together in this perfect way that just made you smell like ethereal, something not of this world. It was such a beautiful scent. I actually also had the candle. I believe I was gifted the Tiara candle from House of Sillage, and I gave it to my mother, and it's a beautiful, like, that whole scent is amazing. So I want to show you guys what to layer with this if you're going for that vibe. If you want to smell like House of Sillage, if you want to smell even more unique, even more interesting, even more sophisticated, people will think, oh my God, that girl smells amazing. I have no idea what she's wearing, but she smells incredible. Let me show you, and it's not that expensive, let me show you what to layer with this fragrance. And the scent that I have layered with it just completely by accident, I just one day picked up both bottles and was like, you know what, I want to see what these smell like together. And it was a literal match made in heaven. It smelled so good. That is from Fleur, and it is just a simple body spray, body mist, and this is Heavy Cream. So this one is also new to me. I got this one, I think like maybe 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago when I was in the city, and this is one of the newer releases from Fleur. I also have Vanilla Skin, which I do like, but Vanilla Skin goes a little bit more into that ambery, woodsy direction. This one is more of a true like whipped cream, caramel, vanilla gourmand. So the notes that you have here in Heavy Cream, in the top you have lemon sugar, which I don't really smell, but I guess it's there. You've got marshmallow and orange. In the middle you have jasmine blossom, coconut cream, and ambretolide. And in the base you have vanilla mousse, salted caramel, and whipped cream. So this one by itself smells good enough to eat, smells delicious. I love it. It's one of the best gourmand body sprays I've ever smelled. It smells great by itself. It smells great layered with Vanilla Skin. I love that combination if I'm looking for a truly vanilla gourmand experience. This, you guys, is a match made in heaven. This is a match made in heaven. So let me go ahead and spray it in the box, and then I want to tell you what it smells like and why you need it. Okay, so I just sprayed a couple sprays of each here in the box, and you guys, when I tell you this combination will get you the most compliments out of any perfume. But when you mix these two together, you get the chicness and the sophistication and the elegance of the floral Miss Dior Rose and Roses. You get that floral component. It's musky, it's pretty, it's bright, it's feminine. But then when you add a little bit of the Heavy Cream on top of it, it just adds this like classy marshmallow like sweetness to it. And it really does draw parallels to House of Sillage Tiara. It literally makes you smell like a princess. This combination is something I could see any like Disney princess wearing, but it doesn't smell cheap. It doesn't smell cheap, it smells expensive. Adding the Miss Dior Rose and Roses on top of the Fleur Heavy Cream gives it this elevation and just lifts it up and makes it smell more expensive. It adds an expensiveness to it. Whereas I feel like Fleur Heavy Cream by itself could smell, it doesn't smell juvenile, it doesn't smell too youthful or too young, but it could smell a little cheaper, right? It does smell like a gourmand body spray. However, when you layer it with something like the Miss Dior, especially because the Miss Dior Rose and Roses is already very clean. It's not heavy, it's not too complex, it's not too deep, it's very light, it's very effortless, it's a very light, clean floral, and so it just layers effortlessly. And it just smells amazing. Just trust me, people will smell you and they will think, wow, that girl smells amazing. I have no idea what she's wearing, but she smells incredible. These two together. So this was kind of again, it was kind of like an accidental discovery, but one that I'm so glad that I discovered. And yeah, I absolutely love them. So the combination of these two together, like the Miss Dior Rose and Roses is not terribly expensive because it isn't a parfum and it's not an eau de parfum. So it is one of the less expensive Dior. It still is pricey because it's Dior and because perfume has gone up so much with inflation, but it is one of the more affordable ones. And then of course, if you get the heavy cream, it's going to be a little bit more affordable as well. So this combination, the two of them together is, I want to say, a little less than $200 Canadian. So you're going to pay less for the two of these than you would for like a brand new bottle of YSL Libre, for example. But this way you get two different fragrances plus the option of combining them into a third fragrance that is super unique and super pretty and just takes you to that next level. It takes you from smelling just simple and sweet and good enough to eat or everyday fresh into something otherworldly. So trust me, get these two, layer them, try them together. Next time you're in Sephora, 3 different perfume testing papers, put one with just Rose and Roses, one with just heavy cream, and then spray one with the two of them together and tell me it isn't the most magical combination you have ever smelled. And I'm so glad that I have it because it gives me that House of Sillage feel, which I no longer have. Like I no longer have the House of Sillage perfume. So this kind of gives me all those vibes. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about these perfumes today, you guys. So I hope that you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on Miss Dior Rose and Roses. Absolutely love it. Definitely a new favorite. Just something different to my collection compared to all of the other perfumes that I currently do have. And just, just the vibes that I really want for myself right now.